Welcome back into Sports Blitz Live, presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill and S&S Discount Tire, and the Auburn Blitz segment of the program that's brought to you each and every week by Dane Sharp, attorney at law. Give Dane a call, 256-825-4631, and we've got our good friend Andy Graham on the phone with us. Andy, thanks for taking a little time to talk to us.
Absolutely. I always enjoy it.
Andy, I caught the first hour, not the second, of Sports Call this afternoon, and in the second hour you had a great guest, and you talked about a positive, and I want to start with a positive on the Auburn side, and that's Auburn football. Give us an idea how that guest went in the second hour today.
Oh, yeah, we had J.C. Sherbert from 24/7 Sports, their national recruiting analyst, and talked a little bit about Auburn recruiting and how the weekend Auburn had a pretty big visitor list coming in this past weekend. Big five-star offensive lineman Braden Smith, big kid, 6'6", 292 out of Kansas. Auburn kind of got on him a little late, but there's a tremendous amount of mutual interest there. I think Auburn made a really, really big impression on him. The feeling is there's some crystal ball predictions out there now that maybe that Auburn is his leader. It would be a pretty big pickup for Auburn. Andrew Williams, another defensive end, Auburn's been on for quite a while. There was some thought that he was really close to pulling the trigger, but is going to carry it on out to the end. But Auburn looks to be his leader. So those are two of the guys that there were only four guys in that were uncommitted. So many other ones were already committed players. Rashawn Evans will be visiting Auburn next weekend, and the word is that Trey Williams and Rock Thomas will come back for unofficial visits to try to recruit him as well. So, obviously y'all talked about this earlier in the program. This is that one guy that it seems like every year a guy, comes down to a battle between Auburn and Alabama, the marquee guy, and this is that battle. And, Auburn's lost that battle a couple of times. They've won that battle a couple of times. So it'll be interesting to see how it all shakes out. But this is the final, I think, visit for Evans, and Auburn will make a big push for him. It would be really, really, really good for them not to let another Auburn high school guy get away.
You know, Andy, one positive you can spin for both of our programs here in the state, our bigger programs, Auburn and Alabama. Alabama's at #1. Auburn closes with a couple of these guys, and you could see us upwards of 5, 6, 7 in the recruiting rankings. And the state of Alabama, high school sports here in the state continue to churn out great prospects all the way around. Unfortunately, I've got to move over to another sport that we struggle keeping kids in the state to play at our two programs. Alabama's done a tremendous job, and they've got a great class signed for next year. But our Auburn Tigers, a tough loss this past weekend against Florida, played so well up to the end. Only two guys we've got that are putting points on the board for us. I hate to discount, what the other kids are doing out there, but just not a very good basketball program right now.
No, and the basketball program hasn't been good for quite a while. I happen to be doing some, research for a column that I wrote this past week, and I don't know, I think we all know that the program is not, Auburn doesn't have a great basketball program, but I don't know if I even realized how bad it was. Randy, do you realize that Auburn has only been to the NCAA tournament 3 times in the last 25 years? We've only been to the postseason at all 9 times, with 6 NIT appearances and 3 NCAA appearances in 25 years. I mean, that kind of, I wish I could say, well, it's just Tony Barbie. We get a new coach and it'll be okay, but that's not really the case. Auburn's just having, the basketball program just has never been able to really gain any traction besides the 5 years in a row, under Sonny Smith in the mid-'80s. It really it doesn't really have any kind of pedigree at all. So, yeah, you're right. This team Saturday played very well. I really enjoyed watching the game against Florida. I got into it. But if this was year 1 of Tony Barbie's tenure, I would think, hey, I'm excited. This team actually is showing some fire. We were 0-4 in the league, but we've played a lot of games close. this is year 4. You know, I don't have the answers either. I mean, I don't know other than to go out and recruit higher level players, but that's a lot easier said than done. So again, I don't think there's one specific thing you can do to try to turn the program around, but it's just it hasn't been a prosperous program, and it doesn't appear that it's headed in a positive direction. So Auburn's got to travel to Mississippi State. If they don't win that game, they're traveling to Arkansas, which is a really, really tough place to play. You're looking at being 0-6 when you invite in Alabama. And you know, I don't know. I just don't see Tony Barbie surviving a 4-12 or 3-15 SEC season.
Tough all the way around there, Andy, and we appreciate you being a part of the program tonight. I look forward to hosting Sports Call with you on Friday from 4 to 6, and we look forward to that a couple of times a week. And again, thanks to Dane Sharp for being the sponsor here of the Auburn Blitz segment.
Good to be here.
That's thanks to Andy Graham again. And again, I hate to bring up negatives there at the end, but you got to talk a little basketball. And one positive we didn't get into is Sonny Galloway and this Auburn baseball team, softball as well, trying to catch up with what Alabama has done over the last decade. And a lot of interest around those programs, and we'll talk about that. We'll go ahead and take another break here on Sports Blitz Live. When we come back, we'll talk some Auburn athletics with Luke Robinson, and we'll move into the Bama Blitz in the following segment. More Sports Blitz Live presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill and S&S Discount Tire right after this.